This video is a journey. This video serves to explain the mechanical behavior of consciousness. It explains how consciousness creates reality and how reality is experienced relative to the general human experience. Quantum mechanics defines quantum behavior, and celestial mechanics defines the behavior of celestial objects. Consciousness mechanics defines and explains the behavior of consciousness. It explains the whys and wherefores of consciousness and the fundaments of reality experience. The ideas presented are based on empirical, self-evident observations. There are no stories and there is no emotional bias. The concepts about reality presented are not here to make you feel good or to think about them in a positive or negative way. They only exist as neutral descriptions about reality and are mechanical definitions created by emergent logic. You can use the information however you choose to feel however you wish to feel, and think however you wish to think. You can use the ideas presented as a remembrance tool to remind yourself how the reality you're experiencing is an illusion. The information presented is merely entertainment. The ideas and concepts provided are all just perspectives. They aren't necessarily true for everyone because truth is a matter of experience and everyone experiences a different reality. However, many people enjoy and can benefit from these notions, which is why they are being expressed in this work. If these topics and ideas interest you, then this information is undoubtedly made for you. The experience of consciousness is the experience of life. It is an odyssey of unending discovery and a wondrous voyage through time. Enjoy your journey down the rabbit hole. As all journeys, this begins with time. The experience of time is the experience of observation. Time is your medium of perception and is the fabric on which your life's story is written. Time could most easily be explained as an acronym, wherein time stands for the infinite moment experience. It is the experience of one moment that is constantly changing. Time has different definitions. One definition is that time is the experience of your consciousness changing its reality. This diagram symbolizes how time is experienced for most people. Symbol number 1 represents your experiential focus of consciousness. It's where you experience all the phenomena of your reality in time. Symbol number 1 represents where you experience your body within time. Symbol number 2 represents the probable realities you may experience in time. It symbolizes the realities that only exist as probabilities and how the future doesn't empirically exist. You create the idea of the future from your now experience of time, and the future only exists as what probable reality you may or may not end up experiencing right now. Symbol number 3 represents the linear timeline of your entire reality. Your experience of time is a constant change of moment to moment, and every moment is simply a change in the reality you're experiencing right now. This constant flow of change generally carries an illusion of continuity and momentum, which defines your linear time experience. Your linear timeline is what you define as your history and your probable future. The physical experience of time is a linear, constant flow of physical change. Symbol number 1 is your experiential focus of consciousness. Events such as walking your dog or making a cup of tea happen here. Symbol number 2 is the probable realities you may experience in time. It represents the infinite realities you may or may not experience collapsing into one. Symbol number 3 is the linear timeline of your reality. It's the non-stop flow of time experience. Another definition for time is that it's an experience wherein consciousness self-reflects upon itself and thus creates an experience of itself in time. An artistic way to look at it is to imagine two intersecting circles. Consciousness creates a state of being that generates the illusion of interaction and communication. This state of being is created by consciousness self-reflecting upon its own existence. When consciousness self-reflects upon its existence, it creates the experience of time within itself. This act of self-reflection is perfectly analogous to you looking at your hand and realizing your hand exists. Consciousness observes itself, realizing what it exists as, and this experience is called time. The experience of time is the self-reflection of consciousness. This diagram symbolizes the event of self-reflection that consciousness creates within itself. The two intersecting circles represent the state of consciousness that generates time experience. The circle on the left and the circle on the right symbolize the end product of consciousness's experience of time. Another definition for time could be called an experience of a mental oscillation of the concepts of before and after. Your experience of time is the subjective rate at which your mind changes its perspective. The mental experience of time is a back-and-forth association of past and future. The past and future are parallel perspectives that are relevant to the observing consciousness's now experience. This can be artistically modeled as a wave or a zigzag, as seen in the diagram. The mental experience of time is an association of past and future in one now moment. Because the moment is constantly changing, in order to ground yourself into an experience of continuity and time identification, you must first create a mental relationship to the ideas of past and future. The phenomena you experience in time exist in relation to other phenomena you experience in time. This mental relationship is an association of past and future. Because only right now exists, and the past and the future are imaginary perspectives, you only experience yourself now in relation to the ideas of the past and the future. This relationship is a mental association, and it could be symbolically represented as a waveform. The idea of your mental time experience being a waveform is not just a cute theory. This is based on actual experience. This is why when people drastically alter their state of mind, either through meditation or drugs, they change their perception of time. When people say they feel high, the frequency rate of their mind experiencing time heightens, and they perceive more information about the past and future in the moment. Their mind speeds up, while their reality speed stays the same, or appears to slow down. This diagram represents the mental relationship of consciousness's experience of time relative to the general human experience. One thing to bear in mind is that time doesn't actually exist unto itself. The illusion of time is created within timelessness. There is only one reality, and that is your experience of consciousness right now. Mechanically speaking, there is no such thing as a parallel reality, because reality is simply an experience of the present. A parallel reality is a colloquial term used to define a specific state of consciousness, which relates to a specific experience in space and time. There is no such thing as a past or future. However, the idea of parallel phenomena, like a parallel Earth or universe, can help explain the changing of your reality right now. It can also help explain why some people have vivid memories, experiences of déjà vu, or imaginings of so-called past lives. Notions of parallel universes, worlds, and other kinds of places are things that exist within your reality. Reality is not the same thing as the objects or forms described within it, so a parallel universe is no more a parallel reality than a parallel shoebox. Parallel phenomena define the time experience of your reality right now. The things in your reality, such as the visible universe, constantly change. Parallel phenomena do not change because they make up the change you perceive. Parallel phenomena could be likened to frozen states of light. You cannot actually perceive one parallel thing unto itself because they create your time experience to begin with. It would be like a flipbook character trying to observe one of its pages. The flipbook character's reality exists through the changing of pages, not through one page. Every moment you exist is a completely new reality and universe. The continuity you experience is mentally created moment to moment. All parallel universes are separate, physically having nothing to do with any other parallel universe. The flow of continuity you experience from parallel universe to parallel universe is a parallel timeline. A parallel timeline is a series of parallel phenomena, such as a universe, that defines the change within one's reality. A parallel timeline is a progression of states that creates the experience of change and the experience of time. A parallel spaceline is a series of parallel phenomena that exist in the same space, relative to its timing on a different timeline. Spacelines help define the different probabilities of what could be taking place if different things happened in a timeline. Events and objects that exist within the same spaceline exist within different timelines. Events and objects existing in the same timeline exist within different spacelines. This is a linear way of describing an experience that is multidimensional. All space and time exists multidimensionally now in one space that is your consciousness. The concepts of parallel timelines and spacelines are theoretical, but are based upon actual experience. They are no more theoretical than the idea that you existed an hour from now or will exist in the future. Technically, only right now exists. Regarding the physical universe, the human experience dictates the perception of change to involve how physical light changes. Reality doesn't have time. The experience of time is created within reality. The experience of the physical world changing involves the speed of light in regular normal matter. Thus, the human perception of how the physical world changes can be expressed through the changing of reality every Planck time. Parallel realities, in the way that many people use the term colloquially, are in reference to a parallel timeline. For example, the world you are experiencing right now is one parallel timeline, and another parallel timeline would be a world wherein your parents never met each other. From a more mechanical perspective, however, you could say that those people in that parallel timeline aren't actually your parents, because your parents only exist within your timeline. Parallel timelines don't have to be extremely dissimilar from each other. One atom difference is a completely different parallel timeline. It could be as simple a difference as you choosing to do something this timeline version of yourself didn't choose to do. That could be anything from blinking your eyes to wearing a different outfit. Any difference whatsoever is a totally different parallel universe, and thus part of a different parallel timeline. All parallel timelines and parallel spacelines are happening right now. All parallel universes exist right now. All parallel timelines exist right now. You only experience the reality that is most relevant to your state of consciousness. Parallel phenomena are potential states of consciousness that already exist within consciousness. The reason you don't experience all the other universes is because your consciousness is focused a certain way dimensionally. All this means is that your consciousness is focused in a way that makes the other parallel universes seem non-existent. This is similar to how being in a large house can make outside of that house seem non-experiential because it's outside of your current focus. If a person's consciousness isn't focused like how most people's consciousness is focused, for example, they can perceive seemingly multiple worlds at once, they are usually called crazy. That's because they have a mental and physical disposition towards that perspective of reality, don't know how or why it's happening, and can't communicate their experience in a normal way. What insane people experience as real is just as solid and tangible as what normal people experience. They are hallucinating due to the chemicals in their brain, just as you are right now. The only difference is that their hallucinations aren't similar to what most people hallucinate. Reality is 100% subjective because it's based upon your personal experience of your unique brain. Parallel universes and parallel timelines compose the experience of time. They create the multidimensional film strip that makes up the beautiful story of your life.